Hey, Nick.
Oh, hey, Tys. What's going on, man? You scared the shit out of me.
I always seem to catch you off guard, even though literally 5 seconds before that happens, I say, are we going? Let's go. I'll push record.
Yeah, you're going to like, hi, okay, yeah, hi. Oh, jeez. Hey, Tys, how are you, man?
Look, I'm good, man. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 151 of Nic, Tys and Videotape. We had our big, spectacular 150th last week, and now it's back to our regular programming.
It is.
But we're very glad that everyone could join us. We're talking about 1985's The Breakfast Club this week.
Yes.
Thought we'd go right into our childhood again, but in a different kind of way.
But yeah, different. Yeah, because I was going to say, I didn't watch this in the 80s or 90s, to be honest. I was late to the game.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I definitely watched it in the 90s. But
yeah, I'm kind of happy that I did because, I don't know. I am happy that I didn't see it because I can kind of appreciate it more. We'll get into this later. But yeah, and I'm kind of upset that I didn't watch it while I was in high school because it probably would have helped.
That's 100% correct. But before we do any of that, Nicholas, why don't you tell the people at home where they can find our show?
Oh, yeah, sure. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining Nic, Tys and Videotape on this lovely, whenever you're listening to it, afternoon, morning, evening, But thank you. If you do like what you hear, please hit that like, subscribe button, rate, review, all of those things. Because, we would love that. We really would. Other than that, Tys and myself are on all the social medias, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are on the YouTube. We do have an email. Oh, I'm all over the shop. Jeez, this is not going well.
Turns out 151 is not a charm.
Yeah. It's because I've had a day off. What was I going to say? Yes, we do have a Gmail account, which is nictysonvideotape@gmail.com. So if you wish to write in and tell us. Now, Tyson, we are in the month of September.
It is September.
Which means that if those people wish to ask us to do a specific horror movie, because we do the month of horror in October.
We do. Our spookisodes are on the way.
Yeah. Exactly. So if there is, we've kind of got the franchise locked in already. But if there is something you would like us to look at, now is your chance. Tyson will only take email.
Only email.
All you have to do. Only email. All you have to do is literally write it in.
That's it. I mean, we've got so many cool things that we're, topics of shows. If you want us to do, if we're going to do a by request, or we can do everything old is new again. If there's a remake you want us to have a chat about, we can talk about the original and the remake. We can rank some stuff if you want us to. I don't know.
Yes.
Who cares? Whatever.
Find a horror subject that we can rank.
Yeah,
I would love the shit out of it.
What else? What are our other kinds of shows that we do? I feel like we've got at least a couple more.
We've got... we do. We have what's the newest one? You like this, I like this. What is that one?
Yeah, show you mine, I'll show you yours.
No, show me... Oh, yes, well, I have done it before, actually. Yeah, I like that one.
We could do one of those, yeah, exactly. So
we could do one of those. A movie that Tyson hasn't seen or a movie that I haven't seen.
Exactly. It's on our list, of course. I forgot.
On the list.
It's on the list.
Horror movie on the list.
Yeah, if there's something that you want to recommend, and if by chance we haven't seen it, it could end up on our list. So there's heaps of stuff there, and obviously, we basically spend the whole month just going nuts watching horror. And the best thing about this month is, though, Nick, this time, is that with the world in the state it is, basically all the things that used to get in the way of Halloween fun in October, gone.
Oh, sure.
Just all gone.
Exactly.
It's just a clear month now. So
it is. It's great.
So, yeah, there's definitely more opportunity for Halloween fun.
For more things. Exactly.
Yeah. So get in there, ladies and gentlemen, and request away.
Exactly. And Shudder has launched the...
It has indeed.
The horror streaming service in Australia. I've just started my 1 or 2 week trial of Binge. So I'm gonna wait till that runs. Yeah, wait till that runs out and then start Shudder.
Okay,
so
nice.
I'm watching the shit out of Binge right now.
I have purchased my Shudder membership.
You've purchased? Oh, Tyson. Any fun things you wish to tell us?
We might talk about them a bit later in the show.
Oh, I like it.
But yeah, so I did it just as far as that was exciting news that. Definitely worth mentioning for any of the horror fans out there. The pricing is pretty good, and there's an option where you can pay for a year's worth, and it works out to be about $5 a month if you pay for the whole year. And I mean, that's outrageous. So
month.
whatever it was,
month.
less than $60, and I've got a year of Shudder. So yeah, I
like that.
can't really go
I like
wrong with
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Nick, did you mention the Letterboxd?
I didn't know. So yeah, so friends, if you are fans of Nic, Tys and Videotape, if you do wish to find out what we rate the films we're talking about, or even what Tyson and myself are watching, and if you are a bit of a Sherlock Holmes, you'll work out what the franchise is that we're going to be watching. The only way you can do that is by following Tyson or myself on the Letterboxd app. So if you do wish to follow Tyson, it's TYS_videotape, and I am NIC_videotape.
That's correct.
Nice.
Now, Nick, a bit of sad news to start us off. We don't like sad news, but we got some terrible news probably 3 or 4 days ago now, I think.
Yeah,
and
left field shot in the fuck,
absolute
man.
left field shot in the dark, and that was the very sad early death of Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther himself, from colon cancer. Died of colon cancer, which at 42 years of age or 43 years of age.
42,
yeah, which is incredibly sad and remarkable that basically in the time that we have known him. I mean, he had a couple of things prior to 2016. I really like him in the movie Draft Day, which popped up in our 2014 list. But yeah.
And I've seen Get It On, which Get It On. Get It On.
Get It On.
Get It On. Yeah. Badass.
Yeah, when was that, 2012-ish?
I think so.
Maybe even a bit later.
I was really looking forward to that. That was really good. It was a little bit of a letdown in the end, but yeah, it was. Dude, you have to see it just to see him embody James Brown. Like,
yeah, and I mean, like to know that basically this whole time. Oh, that was 2014 as well. There you go, big year.
2014.
So basically, while he's been just storming to popularity and becoming just this incredibly iconic figure for superhero fans, for people of different coloured skin who have finally getting huge amounts of representation within the superhero genre, all that kind of stuff. All happened while in between him doing chemo and having operations and ridiculous stuff. Like I couldn't believe that, man. It just blew my mind that he was so busy and so like dedicated to what he was doing, and you could see like he was at all the press stuff. He was always so friendly, and he was always hanging around talking to people. He was doing all this charity stuff. He understood how important his role within it all was, and would take any opportunity to present the importance of that role to his fans and accept that and to be doing all that while being so incredibly ill was just kind of blew my mind.
But his personal life is his personal life. He hit it so well. Like he looked insanely fit, like in the film Black Panther, like when he's doing all those fight scenes.
Yeah. He does not look like a man who has probably come off chemo who knows how long before.
Exactly.
I've said, you see people with chemo, they don't look like that.
No, they don't look. Yeah, they look quite full on. My grandfather, full chemo, and he's in recession now. It's fine, but yeah, my God, like. Yeah. Just hats off to Chadwick Boseman. Seriously.
Absolutely.
My God.
So an incredibly sad day. It was, like you said, it really came out of left field, and it really kind of got me, man. It got me in the guts, and I was quite upset. Just because it's just you just don't. I guess you don't expect some of them, but to also know that because we are obviously. We're part of an extremely large fan base that feels a little bit like a family, I guess, now. And
absolutely.
And how much each of those characters and those actors mean to us now, as being part of that family. So,
and I think, especially Black Panther, like seeing all of the children of color just kind of come to the realization that the Black Panther, the one that they've watched has passed away, and that's like Captain America and all of the heroes mean a lot to the Marvel fan base and all the people who watch these movies, but it kind of means just that much more to these kids, I'm guessing.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they're seeing what they could be up there on the screen. You know, it's huge. It's such a huge thing. And for that to, I'm sure that, well, it's got me like, it had me thinking, he would have signed on as Black Panther. They would have known. He would have told them, obviously, because of operations and chemo and things like that. I'm not going to be able to do this, this, and this because of. So
you'd have to assume, that some people high up were aware, and which kind of, you know, like that's kind of makes me like him a little bit more. That they were like, no, you're the perfect guy for this. So
yeah, we need you in here.
You know, we want you that badly that we'll work around you. And you know, I think everyone would just, you know, had their fingers crossed that he was going to pull through, and unfortunately,
and that is a massive thing. That's such a humane thing to do from a massive, because these companies, they sign on. We want you for 5 films. You have to give us 5 films.
Oh yeah,
like you get a contract, and we'll see you in 2025. You know, these are the things that happen. It's really, really full on.
Absolutely. But yeah, so an incredibly sad day. But we wish condolences to his family and loved ones, and he will be greatly missed for sure.
Massively.
Yeah. Should we talk some more happier things, Nicholas?
Some more, sorry? I missed
Should we talk some more happier things now?
Let's talk some happier things.
Let's do that.
Let's start off with the trailer, shall
Let's
we?
do that.
Everybody's talking trailers.
So Nick, you mentioned as we logged on that basically you were like, I asked, so are there any trailers we're watching? It's like, no, it's all horror and it's all garbage.
Yeah, it really,
and so
it really was.
Well, I think
there's like 9 of them. We're ramping up to Halloween. I think that's what it is.
The month is upon us, and this is the thing. They're actually, it's pretty well timed because they know what they're doing. They know that none of these things are going to go to cinema. They're all going to be available on demand. So
exactly,
and they're all going to be available throughout the month of October. So start advertising them now like crazy. Try and get a little bit of word of mouth, a bit of buzz happening, and hopefully you make some money through the rentals. But none of them were really worth, you're right, none of them were worth talking about. So we're going to talk about a trailer that came out last week while we were too busy to talk about it. We're going to talk
That's
what,
true.
Nick?
Enola Holmes.
Now, where to begin? My mother named me Enola, which backwards spells alone. And yet, we were always together. And it was wonderful. She was my whole world. Which leads me on to the second thing you need to know. A week ago, I awoke, Mother, to find that my mother was missing, and she did not return. I'm presently on the way to collect my brothers, Mycroft and Sherlock. Yes, Sherlock Holmes, the famous detective, my genius brother. He will have all the answers.
Enola. Where's your hat and your gloves?
Well, I have a hat, just makes my head itch, and I have no gloves.
My God.
A wild woman brought up a wild child who will make her acceptable for society.
She seems intelligent.
There are 2 paths you can take, Enola. Yours, or the path others choose for you.
It is time to find my mother. The game is afoot. If I have to stay hidden from my brothers, I must become something unexpected. A lady.
You've progressed nicely.
Is she safe?
She's our company.
I'm Viscount Tewkesbury.
A useless boy.
You have to help me.
I'm not ready to die on a train.
I'm not ready to die at all, and I wasn't going to before I met you. What are you planning, Mother?
She always had a reason for everything. Her own way of doing things. Perhaps she wants to change the world.
Perhaps it's a world that needs changing. Come on! Unlike most well-bred ladies, I was never taught to embroider. I was taught to watch and listen. I was taught to fight. I'm coming to find you, Mother.
You don't know how to embroider?
Very good. Is
that the whole title? Yeah, Enola Holmes.
Yeah. This looks like a barrel of fun, Nick.
I am all in for this. I've watched this trailer 3 times now.
Yeah, right.
I had to show Sam because she's a big Sherlock fan.
Cool.
And I think this looks so much fun.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Kind of on the way that and it's such a good trailer showing what type of movie that it is.
Yep.
It's not going to be your serious or kind of in the way of Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock Holmes. It's not overly serious. Not that is. There are some funny elements in that, but this is more going for the funny side of a Sherlock Holmes or
a more Holmes and Watson style with Will Ferrell and.
Oh yeah, probably not that bad, but
No.
but yeah, yeah. So it looks insanely fun. So Enola Holmes is played by Millie Bobby Brown, which everyone loves from Stranger Things.
Yep.
And man, she owns this, man. It looks so much fun. I mean,
She looks like she's having a great time. She I had a good couple of giggles to some of her line delivery. Her character seems really eccentric and I mean, you know, her mother is played by Helena Bonham Carter, so she's probably stealing like a little bit of influence from that and saying, well, if my mum was Helena Bonham Carter, how would I act? And this is probably close. But yeah, really funny line delivery. I like the whole breaking the fourth wall stuff. It feels a bit Ferris Bueller. It's kind of it's a bit fun. Yeah. I just it looks just like I kind of struggle with family entertainment. There's not a lot that really grabs me about it. I kind of go, yeah, okay. But this kind of looks like the thing where I'm like, yeah, you know what? That seems like a really perfect kind of Sunday afternoon. A bit of fun and good cast that I really enjoy. And it's just on Netflix. Always a plus.
Yeah. See, there you go. As if you're not in for that. So when it kind of reminded me of, did you see Tintin?
I did. I watched it.
You did?
Well after it came out. I just I stumbled across it one day and was like, oh, I'll just watch it. I haven't seen it. And I really liked it, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the kind of adventure type movie that I think that this is kind of embodying. Like it's a bit of fun, bit of enjoyment, some laughs, and kind of like that roller coaster Indiana Jones Temple of Doom thing. You know, it's just excitement and fun.
Yeah, and in a year where we've had kind of attempts at this, like something like Disney had that Artemis Fowl, which turned out to be really no good apparently from all reports. Like not even like kind of bad, but to the point where it's like people were tearing down that thing to shreds.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of we're probably dying, you know, we're probably people are probably reaching out for something a bit more family friendly in these circumstances, you know, that isn't Trolls
and not Doolittle, because that didn't do anyone
Doolittle
any
was
favours
garbage
either.
as well. Yeah, exactly.
And
you know, it's a hard market because that kind of age that it's kind of aimed at, which would be slightly younger teenager, so like your 12 to 15 kind of end teenagers. Yep. There's not a huge amount that isn't Disney Channel stuff that suits them, because you got some of the more teenage romantic stuff might be a bit too much for them, and you don't always want them watching that stuff. And then your Hunger Games and your Divergence and stuff, they just feel a little bit too old as well.
Bit too serious as well.
Yeah, so it's tough.
You can't just keep rewatching Harry Potter either.
Exactly. Harry Potter is kind of a good example. Like that's kind of aside from the last two, maybe 2 or 3 movies where they were starting to get pretty heavy too. I think they
Half-Blood
really
was heavy at the end.
Yeah, God, they struck a really good balance in those middle 3 for that age. But and you know, it's right. You can't just keep watching the stuff that they watched when they were 8 and just expecting to still like it, you know. So
when did the sequel to Jumanji come out? Because we've had 3 now. The first one that we grew up with in the 90s.
Yeah.
The next one, and then there's another one after that, isn't there?
Yeah, there was, and I honestly can't remember.
When did that come out?
It's already streaming. It's on Prime already. But because the posters look so similar to me that I keep scrolling past it, thinking it's the first one of these ones.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's called
I've seen that one.
The Next Level.
The Next Level.
The other one was called Welcome to the Jungle or something.
Welcome to the Jungle. Yeah. When did The Next Level come out? Was that this year?
No, surely not.
Surely not. Who knows these things?
I mean, the start of this year feels like 17 years ago, so who knows?
And I feel, do you, now that we're almost at the end of this year, where most of this year has been locked down in our houses, I really feel like there hasn't been any big movies that has released this year. I feel like everything has been held off. Am I correct in feeling like this?
Yeah, well, I mean, Tenet or however we're going to say it, had a release in some parts of the world and some other parts of Australia. So that's probably the biggest release of the year, I would say. But everything else, it's getting pushed back or
been put off hold. I know.
Yeah, and I mean, it's probably for the best, man. I mean, I don't want to. Did you see Tom Cruise made a little film about going to the movies when he had his mask on and he rode his cab?
Good on him.
Exactly, good on him. But I just don't think any movie is worth doing at the moment.
Yeah, especially in your country, dude. Like, sorry, but in the States, you guys kind of have a really, really high incident count. Not to mention, there's more things happening other than COVID-19 in that country right now. So going to the movies is really not a top priority, No.
And it is. It's a big gamble all around. So yeah, and I think it's probably for the best. I'm more than happy to have a stacked 2021. Like the kind of year where it's like, oh man, every week there's something.
Exactly.
And
I would love that.
Yeah, the more distance, the more things that we have to take our mind off the dumpster fire that was this year, the better. So
exactly.
But I think we've all collectively agreed that this year's just a write-off. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
It will be erased from all history. Aside from it was just that there will just be an asterisk next to it on Wikipedia and just say cancelled due to COVID.
Not to be mentioned.
Yeah. But yeah, do you know what this also reminds me of, Nick? This one. Did you ever? I didn't see it, but did you know about the Nancy Drew movie that came out last year, maybe
last year? No,
or maybe the year before. It had the girl from It. The
Oh yeah.
What's her name?
The girl who played Beverly Marsh.
Yes. And I heard it was called, it was last year, Nancy Drew and the Hidden Staircase, and I heard this was excellent.
Oh, yeah.
And
cool.
What's her name? Sophia Lillis. And that to me seems like it's a really similar kind of vein. We're getting kind of teenage girl protagonists in movies about teenagers for teenagers, and I think that's really great.
Yeah,
because I think we had such a massive run of like you were saying, your Harry Potters and all that kind of stuff, where it was the teenage boy. Now we're getting
Percy Jackson, all that shit.
So we're getting what was Eragon, everyone's favorite Eragon.
No one's favorite.
I'm trying to think of some other ones. Ender's Game.
What's another one?
That was a good one.
Oh yeah, Ender's Game.
City of Bones.
Oh, well done.
City of Ember. City of Ember?
City of Ember. No, that was a female lead.
Oh, was it? Nice.
That was a female lead. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Are you not thinking of Mortal Instruments?
I'm thinking of
City of Ember.
Spy Kids.
Oh, Spy Kids. Very good. I'm thinking of Cats and Dogs.
I'm thinking of Small Soldiers.
Oh, nice. Female lead. Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst. City of Ember was Saoirse Ronan.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Saoirse.
Early Saoirse.
Early Saoirse.
I like that.
Going on to win Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Has she?
I don't know if she's won.
Nominated?
She's definitely been nominated. But yeah, so this looks like a lot of fun, Nick, and just on Netflix. So, I mean, we can't go past it. I'm kind of I'm a little bit more open to Netflix originals at the moment. I'm kind of, as I'm scrolling through, I'm a bit more. Yeah, I'll give this a crack. Yeah, why not?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I just want to watch new movies. You know what I mean? There's something about and not necessarily new movies from like 3 years ago that were at the cinema. There's something about Netflix originals that because you don't often see them advertised, and there's a certain amount of mystery about it when you push play. They feel like newer. It could be a couple of years ago that they released it, but for me it feels like a brand spanking new movie as opposed to something that I've read a bunch of reviews about or saw all these Twitter reactions, and I know the cast because they've gone on to all these other things. Doesn't always feel that way with Netflix originals. So yeah, it's a bit of fun. It's like going to the movies.
True.
Not really, not at all.
It. Not really, not at all. But, it's what we're doing right now.
That's it. We're filling the gaps.
Yeah.
Nick, should we move on to our feature pres, my man?
Let's talk feature prezi.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And now for our feature presentation.
It is now 7:06. You have exactly 8 hours and 54 minutes to ponder the error of your ways. Any questions?
Yeah. Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
A brain, a beauty, a jock, a rebel, and a recluse.
Can't believe this is really happening to me.
Before this day is over, they'll break the rules.
Chicks cannot hold their smoke. That's what it is.
Bare their souls.
I'm a nymphomaniac.
Are your parents aware of this?
Take some chances.
Being bad feels pretty good, huh?
And touch each other in a way they never dreamed possible.
Why'd you do that?
Because I knew you wouldn't.
The Breakfast Club. They only met once.
I don't want to be alone anymore.
You don't have to be.
But it changed their lives forever.
I mean, I consider you guys my friends. I'm not wrong, am I?
Universal Pictures presents Emilio Estevez, Paul Gleason, Anthony Michael Hall, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, and Ali Sheedy in a John Hughes film.
Why are you being so nice to me? Because you're letting me.
The Breakfast Club.
So, Nick, I wonder if I played the trailer there or if we got sued. I'm not sure. I have a feeling that the trailer is going to feature some prominent 80s bangers. And
Don't.
We'll see how we go.
It was only, watching the movie, there was only one 80s banger for me. Like, there's music in the movie, but there's only one song that I was like, oh, yeah. Which is obviously, Simple Minds.
There's also a couple that feel like royalty-free music.
Yeah.
There's one rock and roll song that sounds like, it sounds like something you would be, it's a rock and roll song and this is how we rock and roll. Da, 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 da. Like if someone just needed something completely royalty free.
So funny. Oh my God.
Very good.
So Tyson, tell us what year, hang on, wait. How old were you when you saw The Breakfast Club for the first time?
I was probably 17, 18. So
nice.
yeah, I think I was pretty
nice
close in age to the characters in the film.
Yeah.
So that would have been I definitely didn't watch it. I'd seen Pretty in Pink. I hadn't seen 16 Candles by this point.
Okay.
Yeah, for some reason, Pretty in Pink was the one that I saw a lot more during like early years, early teenage years.
Of course it was. That's good. I like
about that James Spader.
No,
do you reckon if you showed
science?
someone from the 80s a picture of James Spader now and said this is what he's going to look like, they'd believe you?
Everyone would be like, fucking what?
They'd be like, no way. Yeah. No way.
Yeah. Not James Spader.
Not James Spader.
Gorgeous Dave Spader. So you never have you even done Weird Science? I haven't even touched Weird Science.
I've seen Weird Science, but that was way back in the day.
All right. Okay.
But yeah, I had a real John Hughes kind of kick for a little while during my early 20s, where I anything that had his name anywhere near it that was of a certain kind of genre, I didn't really, I wasn't rushing out to watch Curly Sue again or anything like that. But Some Kind of Wonderful, I really enjoy. There's a movie that he wrote the screenplay for called Reach the Rock. That I hunted down on VHS. There was a video store 2 suburbs away had one copy, and I was like, "Yep, I'll come and grab that."
Oh my God, I was exactly the same. I used to hunt. I was talking about this the other day. I would go to video stores that I had never been to, so I could scour their shelves and look for something that I'd never seen before.
Yeah,
and go, "Oh, look at that! Yes, I will become a member of this video store, even though I'm 4 towns away."
Exactly. What do you mean? Yep, I'll sign up. You actually live too far away. No, you're going to let me have this.
That's not true. That's not true. My grandma lives just up the road, and I live with her.
Oh, yes, that's the one. That's the way to do it. Clever.
Yeah.
And stuff like there's a few that I haven't got around to seeing, but as far as his teen run, I've seen all of those, and I really enjoyed those. Even the like I said, even the ones he's produced and weren't so much he's doing, but he just had a part in either producing it or writing it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so I was a huge fan. I've never seen She's Having a Baby. I need to see that.
You do need to see that. I haven't seen that either.
It's Kevin Bacon.
Sam made me... I had never seen... So for starters, I was late to the game. I saw Breakfast Club probably when I was... Was I still at the video store? I don't think so. I think I saw it when I was about 24, 25.
Yeah, right.
26, yeah. And yeah, I loved the shit out of it. My God. I was like, oh, I get it now. I get why everyone was... Because the only thing that I'd seen up until that point was Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
Yeah.
And
two genuine classics, by the way.
Yeah. And yeah, I was like, right, I get it. Like a big puzzle piece just slotted into my cinema watching. I was like, right, I get why John Hughes is such a big deal. Then went from that and... Oh, what did I watch after that? Oh, I watched Pretty in Pink. And yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And then Sam made me watch 16 Candles because I'd never seen it. I was like, no, I'm not going to watch that. She's like, yes, you are. We put it on. And I was like, whoa, okay. So there's stuff in this that probably wouldn't, it probably wouldn't get made now.
No. I mean, but you could say that about, that it's some things we can defend, some things we don't like to defend, but it's the stuff that's in that movie is in there because it's pretty close to probably what happened in that time. Yeah?
Yeah. Hang on, are you talking about 16? Are you talking about Breakfast Club?
No, 16 Candles, yeah. There would be some stuff in that. The more questionable stuff in 16 Candles, probably lesser versions of that would have happened in high schools. You know what I mean? There'd be panty raids and things like that. And so, it's much as it's, we can look at it now and be like, well, that's sus as. I don't think it's presented in a way where it's not at least kind of built around some part of truth.
Same with the start of the Breakfast Club. When you see what's written on that locker, or when Judd Nelson kind of calls out Michael Hall's character, like all of that stuff. Like I'm sure that still happens. And I was debating with Sam. I was like, babe, there's this absolutely still happens. And she's like, I hope that it doesn't. I just hope that kids are more aware. She's like, I think it's uncool to say that to someone anymore. Like you have to really, really dislike someone and wanted to be hated to say those things.
Yeah, I mean, you would have more
of an idea because you're a teacher. Do kids?
Oh yeah, but I hang out with music kids. Like they're all geeks and losers anyway. So they're not. They're like, and by geeks and losers, I mean they're the sweetest, nicest bunch of the kids. Like
exactly, yeah, so they're the real kids.
They're not running around dropping F-bombs on people, and not the fun kind of F-bomb. Just a little funny aside. So this is the school I teach at. I've always assumed is kind of not like that because I'm buried in the music department, so I don't see the regular life of high school. Now I went to an all boys school, so I know what a hardcore
boys can do.
High school experience can be, where it's like walking from the tuck shop to somewhere to eat lunch is like a life and death experience.
Hell yeah.
And so, being at this school, I was like, oh, well, it's not like that at all. And then one day, just outside the window of our staff room, because it never really travels up there, I saw like 2 Year 10 boys like having a full-on fist fight. And
nice.
I was like, what? Yeah. This isn't right. This is not at my school. This is... And I was talking to some of the teachers after, and they were like, it's a normal high school. Like it's stuff. The rest of there's still jocks. There's still the science kids. There's still people picking on other people. Yeah, there's
the popular girls.
Exactly.
You have no idea. Exactly.
Do you know what the popular girls play at my school or do at my school? They play volleyball. That's the thing. If you're a popular girl at my school, you're in the volleyball team. What's that all about? Team.
That's because we in Australia do not have cheerleading teams.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't be a cheerleader, so you can play volleyball.
You can't be a cheerleader.
It's just I always find it such a weird choice of sport that for a school to excel at. It's like they take it so seriously, like they take it more seriously than like the music department gets shafted sometimes because the volleyball team needs things, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? The volleyball team?
I love that shit. Oh my God, that's so good.
Anyway, we're on a sidetrack. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of high school stories in this episode. I feel like that's going to...
There is. There's got to be. It's a high school movie. Like, that's the thing. And I feel like I was trying... I wrote a little bit of notes, but not too much. In what I said before, why I'm happy that I didn't watch this is because my high school movies of me being in high school was Empire Records, Dazed and Confused, and Can't Hardly Wait. Those were my high school movies. And towards the end, it was American Pie.
Yep.
But that was kind of different. Like, those were the three movies that I identified more with, even though Dazed and Confused is set in the 70s. But, you know, I watched those movies the most. So those were my high school. They were made in the 90s for 90s kids of that time.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So me missing out on The Breakfast Club was kind of a good and a bad thing. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. And I think looking at it in your mid-20s is probably not the worst idea in the world because you'd be more discerning viewer at that point anyway. I could see a lot of people the same age of these characters not really connecting with it because it feels like... Because it's not an out-and-out comedy, you know what I mean? It's not like a raucous good time teen movie, which I think we sometimes fall into the trap of feeling like most teen movies need to be that. Yeah? Like, I mean, even if you think of the 90s stuff, like, I can't think of a 90s equivalent, really, that...
To The Breakfast Club?
Yeah, that is well-received. I mean...
Yeah, well... The Breakfast Club shouldn't have worked. Like, I don't think it should have. If you were to tell me that basically they call it in television, it's a bottleneck episode. It doesn't leave that scene, right? They stay in that library throughout the whole movie. It doesn't move anywhere else. Do you know what I mean? It moves to the gym and some things like that, but it's all in that one school. Like, it shouldn't... As a bottleneck episode... Those bottleneck episodes are kind of the boring episode. The characters don't move. There's a little bit of movement here and there with... people emotionally and maybe through their arcs, which you get perfectly with this. But yeah, an equivalent Breakfast Club, this in the 90s? No, the closest thing I've got is maybe Empire Records.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, like, that we're trying to find something that doesn't rely on comedy as heavily as those. I think Empire Records really does rely on the kind of the goofiness comedy of it. Like, everything feels a bit kind of like, oh, hey, look at this crazy bunch of kids. There doesn't really seem to be... I mean, you know what there was? There was Kids in 1995.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, no.
So that's definitely not what we're talking about.
No, that's the polar opposite.
Yeah, and I mean, stuff... Actually, that's not a bad example, but that's a bit more post-high school. I'm just looking through a random list of stuff.
Yeah, that's all right. The movies in the 90s, though, like, they didn't have... Like, what makes The Breakfast Club so good is you see the arc of these characters and how, you know, they are kids just going through the motions of realising that everyone is just the fucking same and we're all just treading water at the same time. And, of course, all of those kids are in the same situation. They all have parents. They all live at home. They all don't know what they want to do or who they want to be. And they're connecting with other people who are much the same. You know, I really doubt that a movie of the 90s hit that level of, I don't know, movie magic. Like,
yeah, I get what you're saying. I think what I find that I really enjoy when I watch it, and I still get that feeling of it. Is that it's reminiscent in a way that's really doesn't feel like cheaply nostalgic. So watching it as an adult, you don't sit there and go, "Oh, to be a teenager again." You can watch it as an adult and feel like associate with them and empathize for them. But there's something about the way it's written and there's something about the way it's performed that there is a separation there. So when we're watching it as an adult, we still feel that gap of being of adult to kid. And we still we empathize with them, but we sit there and we say, yeah, cool, okay, you've perfectly captured an emotional state at a certain age level. And that's it's so accurately done because it never once sounds like Dawson's Creek, way too old for you, like way too mature or way too sophisticated emotionally for your age limit, or the OC when everyone just behaves like it's a teen drama, but they might as well be in their late 20s because all the things that happen are the same things that would happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and on an emotional maturity level as well, just their reactions to things and the problems that they're having and the way that they communicate them, it's so perfectly locked into being that age. And so when you watch it at that age, you feel this real kind of companionship with them. But when you watch it as our age, there's a separation there. And there's a distance there, and you kind of like you watch it and you go, yeah, cool, wow. Wait till you guys, just wait till you keep going. Like wait until wait till things change, and wait for the next step. It gets wild from here out,
and especially as a parent, like I'm looking at it now, and after the movie, talking with Sam, going, it's going to be interesting when Clark comes home and goes, I got detention today. I'm like, oh, well, what did you do, you badass? Kind of.
You're Emilio's dad, are you?
Yeah.
We used to roughhousing.
You gotta win, kid. You gotta win. No, I'm definitely not Emilio's dad. So it's kind of looking at the other side as well. Now being a parent, going, I'm the one dropping the kid off. I'm the one going, have fun, kid. Don't talk to Ali Sheedy. She's weird.
Don't you talk to that weird kid.
Don't talk to that weird kid.
Does she have drugs? She's going to give you drugs. Don't you talk to that kid.
She's one of the greatest in this.
Oh, yeah, she's great. She's so good.
Yeah. And I've only seen this. This is my probably third watch ever.
Oh, really?
So I was going in quite. I don't remember lots. I remember a fair chunk,
sure,
but not a lot. And especially because a lot of television shows, a lot of movies have referenced The Breakfast Club.
Oh, yeah, there's callbacks to
Dawson's Creek did a lot. Yeah,
yep.
Dawson's Creek did a full episode where they emulated the whole thing.
Not Another Teen Movie spends a lot of time making fun of Breakfast Club, and like some of it is also such deep cuts as well that I love, like stuff that you wouldn't even realize, which why I love Not Another Teen Movie so much.
Good movie.
Back to just to go back a little point is when it comes to the kids. I don't even think I am any of them. So even when
you're any of them?
Even when I watched it as a kid, I don't think I was any of them. I think I was all of them, and I think that's kind of I kind of assume that that's a deliberate point because they are such strong archetypes that I know those archetypes do exist for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's more designed for and maybe not to that extreme level, and so. You go into it and you see little bits of yourself in multiple versions of them. And now that I've grown up, I can't see myself being any of those parents either because
exactly.
I just don't see it ever happening. But, there might be elements of that in there, but I just can't see any of them being a distinctive, that's me. Yeah, I've got it.
That's me.
And that's pretty cool too, that he's managed to kind of paint these archetypes so broad, but yet so specific at the same time that we don't necessarily blankly relate to one of them. We relate to all of them.
We relate to all of them. Yeah.
I like how the parents are such great reflections of the kids as well.
Yeah.
Like when you drop them off, like they get like 3 lines of dialogue, but you see immediately why they are the way they are.
Type of yeah. And especially because like the fact that Judd Nelson just rocks up on his own, he's walking. He doesn't even even see his parents.
Yeah,
like
well, they're not getting up. They're probably drunk on the couch. Like, but that's there's so much information in that first 20 seconds.
Scene.
Like that. Oh, sorry, absolutely. 20. What is it? Maybe 5-10 minutes. And it's chock full of everything you need. Not only do you just the visual imagery of the stuff that accompanies Andrew's narration at the start. Is his name Andrew?
Andrew? Yes, Andrew. No. Yeah. You're talking Emilio Estevez?
No.
Or are you talking
Michael Hall?
Brian.
Oh, yeah, Emilio's Andrew. Yep. Thank you. Yeah. So accompanying Brian's voiceover, at the start, just those flashes of imagery that we get when we start to paint this picture so clearly, and then that just the conversations they have and the way they arrive to school, we are done. We have character set up nailed. Everything is there for us, and it's just it's so clever and so well put together that we didn't need any, like, I think of some of those movies from the 90s where it's like a movie I love, but a movie that does this which doesn't need to do this, like Can't Hardly Wait, where it freeze frames, brings up the yearbook photo,
and it tells you, and it tells you little bits about them. Yeah, I remember that.
So this, a worse version of this would do that, or would, but it doesn't need to. It's so, like you said, just having Bender just walking across after seeing everyone else's parents drop off, we immediately know, troubled kid, bad relationship with his parents, done.
Doesn't care about anything. Like the fact that he walks in front of Ali Sheedy's parents' car and they brake hard because they're about to hit him. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't move.
No,
He's like,
exactly.
hit me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And it's immediately you get Ali Sheedy's car, like she goes to say something on the window, they just drive off.
And they just
don't
drive
pay attention.
Oh, that killed me.
It's super sad. So that it's such a strong opening, and by the time we get into the that set is incredible. What school has a library like that? Doesn't look like the best fucking library in the world.
I know. And if they get remember in high school when it would rain, and you just go into the library just to be warm, basically, because your uniform was so fucking freezing.
Exactly.
And you just hang out. My library was fucking small. Like
I went to a big school.
So of course when it started raining and all these stinky, sweaty teenagers get into the library, it smelled bad, man.
Of course it did. Oh, of course.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, I went to a big school, and our library was single story. It had maybe 2 tables, 3 tables at most, a couple of computers, and 4 or 5 racks of books. This is something else.
Damn. Yeah, this has got 2 floors.
It's got floors.
What does Ali Sheedy stick a baloney to? Is that it's a statue?
It's just a big fucking statue in the middle of
a massive statue.
I mean, why not?
Oh fuck!
But it's so well designed though, because it's such a great space. Like it's so at first it kind of swallows them up a little bit, but as the movie goes on, they become more familiar with it, and it becomes their space, and they make themselves more at home within it. And I think that's really really great as well. God, it's just knowing that that's primarily where all the action is going to take place, and finding a space that looks so good that you can do so much stuff, clever filming techniques with. They did really well, I reckon, on that. Yeah,
absolutely. Now let's have a quick talk about Paul Gleason.
Oh yeah, Vernon.
Because did you have? Well, I didn't. Did you have a teacher come after you, like he goes after Bender? Because I didn't, but I had friends who had teachers go after them, and it was clear they had an issue with them because they would pull them out of the class, rank them up, and just you would just see them. Like my friend Dave, we were best friends all the way through high school until he left in year 9.
Yeah,
and then he was always the one who would get pulled out of class. So I'm like, what have you got to get? He literally has done nothing but walk in the class, done the exact same thing as me. Yet you're on his case already. Like it was just a horrible thing.
Teachers might not admit it, but they have students they hate. Like.
Yeah. It's going to be hard. It's not an easy job.
No.
know?
But the thing about it is, what ends up happening is they become not so much a target, but the tolerance for their bullshit goes way down. So for instance, someone let's say there's you and there's somebody next to you. If the person next to you is one of those kids and you're both doing the same thing, that kid will get thrown out first. Because there's no tolerance for bullshit from him. Whereas from you, it's kind of like it would be almost ignored because you're not the one that's on the radar.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Sacrificial lamb, so to speak.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, and I've got some kids that just rub me the wrong way, and so if they're fucking around or doing something, it's immediate. It's like, hey, stop fucking around.
What are you doing?
Stop that shit. And I take them in the basement or wherever Vernon takes Bender, and I threaten to punch him as well, and it goes really well.
course it would.
And that's how
Of
I
course it
won
would.
Teacher of the Year.
And now I'm the principal.
Because I beat up all the kids. That scene is that scene doesn't play any more for me. I think if I had to pick a kind of moment that I don't like, and it would be the only one, it's that
you
moment.
were going to get rid of.
Yeah.
I think it's a tad dated. There's only two scenes that I thought they were a little bit could have used without, or have maybe dated a bit, so that we've moved past those scenes.
Sure.
But yeah, that was one of them.
It's just weird because I don't like. I mean, Vernon kind of gets. I like how the janitor kind of puts him in his place, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Did you notice? So the janitor is on the wall. He was Man of the Year, and he's graduating class. So in the start of the movie, when it's flashing around parts of the school, there's a photo of old graduating students, and it's the janitor, and he was Man of the Year on his graduating year. So he was like prom king. He was, and so there's this extra level of irony to it that he's now the janitor at the school.
He's now the janitor
because
at the school.
This is John Hughes's little kind of crystal ball, if you will, because he, for a guy who was writing this was well into his 30s and 40s. He's very astute at voicing teenagers. But he has this little kind of, because he is older, he has that ability to reflect back and just show you those little nuggets of stuff. It's the whole thing. It's the high school quarterback who ends up working in a car yard and gets drunk every Friday, still talking about that one game he won that one time. When you're a king in high school doesn't mean necessarily.
Doesn't mean squat afterwards.
Yeah, it means jack shit. And that's it. You can end up, you'll end up the janitor. But so I like that he doesn't make the janitor a pitiful character, though. He doesn't make us be like, oh, what a lame-o janitor. He's actually really quite smart and insightful, and he kind of tells Vernon, hey, man,
you're a dick.
You're a bit of a dick. Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. And why did you... I like that he throws it back on him. Like, why did you get into teaching?
Yeah, exactly. You thought it was going to be a cruisy gig, didn't you?
Yeah, he wasn't like this at the start. Like, obviously wasn't like this at the start for you. So why the fuck are you still here? They're against me. Well, they're not against you.
They're not against him. And that's I hope it never happens to me. I've had the kind of opposite effect. I actually didn't like it very much when I started. And I've grown to like it a lot more as I've gone on.
Oh, nice.
Which is hopefully it means that that'll happen more and more. Because my first 3 or 4 years, I didn't think it was for me. I really didn't think it was for me.
Right.
Yeah, but then it just, as it builds and
as it keeps going,
you start to actually experience what it's like to have a kid who started in year 7 graduate, and you're kind of like, oh man,
that'd be an insane feeling.
That's pretty weird.
God.
Yeah, so all that kind of stuff happens.
Weird as hell.
But so I just don't think I don't know how I feel about Vernon trying to expose Bender's lack of masculinity or something. I don't know what he's trying to do there.
Yeah. Well, I like how Bender takes it, because this is an average Tuesday to him. He really doesn't give a shit. He gets worse than what Vernon's given to him at home. Like, he really doesn't give a shit, and you can tell that. He's like, yeah, go ahead. And which is why he baits him so much when he's saying, cool, do you want more detention? He goes, yeah, sure.
But see, but that's like that stuff, that's the showmanship side of Bender. That's the big time, tough guy. But when, I actually think John Hughes treats that as a moment of Bender's, exposing Bender of just being a kid. That he's actually, it's all talk. He's weak. Yeah. He doesn't have any kind of self-esteem. He would immediately, in the face of any kind of physical threat, he would cower, And I feel like it's just a bit odd to use a teacher as the catalyst for that, and make a teacher expose that.
It's an odd choice.
Because that's, even if he doesn't like him, I think it could have been exposed in a slightly more compassionate way, maybe, towards the character.
Or more of a teaching moment.
Yeah, exactly. He can still, he can give him a good fucking talking down to, but he legit is like, I'm going to punch you in the face.
Punch you in the face. Yeah, I was like, whoa, fucking, okay, chill out. I had a teacher who used to do that, though. He's
punch people in the face.
He never punched anyone in the face. How he got around it, this is hilarious.
Yeah, right.
For those of you who are listening, and I know that Luke Wattsford, who did go to my high school, is listening to this.
Nice.
Yeah. So his name was Mr. King. He
should we mean names? Oh no, name away. Who gives a fuck?
That was his name.
Yep, good.
Yeah. Oh no,
this is his address.
Mr. King. Mr. King. This is his address. I'm kidding. The guy's probably in his 70s now.
Yeah, let's go fuck him up.
Yeah. No. He didn't do anything. What he would do was he was no bullshit. He was a gym teacher. So when he was subbed,
was he a PE teacher?
Yeah, he was a PE teacher. When he was subbed, when our math teacher, I remember one class, our math teacher was gone and he had to step in. He knew less about math than I did. Like, it'd be me going in fresh, going, Nick, teach this class. I'm like, cool. Sure. Everyone throw your books away. We're going to talk about Stand By Me. You know,
everyone turn your chairs around. We're going to sit cool and we're going to talk about a movie.
But he used, if you pushed him, if you push the rules, even though he said, "Oi, cut it out," stop that shit, he would go, "Okay, cool, you." Now, I'm not going to mention the students he did it to, because he only did it to 2 or 3.
Watford copped it, didn't he? I'm sure.
No, Watford never copped it. No. Watford was a good student.
He was an angel,
was he? He would rank you out. He would go, "Okay, you're going to see me after class, or you're going to see me during lunchtime." And what he would do was take you into the gym and spar with you.
What?
So, yeah, he would spar with you, but he would actually hit you in the face. It never happened to me, but it was what would happen. He would teach you self-defense and kind of boxing.
That is wild.
But also spar with you at the same time and get his aggression out on the kids. Like, yeah, pretty funny.
That is wild. That would never fly, ever. Do you know what? If I was a gym teacher, anytime I was under detention, I'd make the kids play dodgeball and I would just cane them.
And I would play. Exactly.
That's exactly. I would play and I'd just be like,
cool, I'm on this team.
Ping.
You're dead. Yeah, you're dead, mate.
Headshot.
You're going to see the spin that I put on this thing.
Oh, mate, so much spin. You're not even going to see it coming.
Try and catch this, mate.
We had teachers, like my school was a fucking jungle. We had teachers like...
You went to an all boys, didn't you?
All boys, like, and real, like, rough as guts. And we had teachers like forearm into neck up against wall kids and stuff like that.
Shit.
When it was getting to that level, it was wild.
Yeah.
Real wild.
All boys is going to be they've got to be different.
All boys at a Christian Brothers college when, talk about all the fucking sexual repression going on there.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Get it out in other ways.
That's
like
it.
Beating up.
That's it.
Shh.
Anyway,
that's
good
intense.
times.
Good times. Breakfast Club, by the way.
But like I said, we were going to end up talking about a lot of our high school memories.
We were. Yeah.
20-year anniversary. I think I mentioned that already a couple of weeks ago. It's my 20-year anniversary, Nicholas.
Oh, that's right. You did. Your high school. Yeah.
Yeah. How exciting. Let's do a bit of a run through, I reckon. Let's do a bit of a roll call. So,
sure.
We have Emilio Estevez in a pretty early role.
We do, as Andy Clark.
I feel like it might have been...
He plays a kind of jock character.
Well, and that's, for me, I always found that kind of strange because I've never considered Emilio Estevez a jock.
No. He's always been my first Emilio Estevez movie was Young Guns. So he was the Judd Nelson character. He was the badass, So he plays the role well, I reckon. It's just that it's funny how he's kind of supposed to be on the same level as Claire. Like, they talk about how, and they sit together sort of thing. They're of the same friendship group. Like, they're sort of the popular-ish kids. He doesn't play football, though. He wrestles. And I always found that kind of a second tier. Like, maybe, you're not good enough to
I feel like in certain
something.
schools, it's obviously, it would be more of a, like I said, my school, volleyball is the thing. Yeah. So maybe just at this school, it's wrestling. Do you know what I've just checked? And this has blown my mind sky high.
Yeah.
Breakfast Club and St. Elmo's Fire came out in the same year. So in the same year, Emilio Estevez is playing a high school senior in an actually good kind of young people's drama and was playing a post-college, first year out of college graduate in a garbage fire.
Yeah.
I always thought St. Elmo's Fire was trying to be a college breakfast club, but it must have been happening around the same time.
Wow.
Isn't that wild? So Judd Nelson as well. Weird. Judd Nelson's playing like a sophisticated Wall Street guy in St. Elmo's Fire, and then here he is in the same year.
Ali Sheedy's in St. Elmo's Fire as well.
Yeah. Isn't that wild? My mind is blown. I'm not comfortable with that at all.
What? Why did Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall do?
Oh, you know they got asked. I almost want to put money on it that Molly Ringwald was asked to be Mayor Whittingham's character.
Exactly. So why wasn't she in it?
Because she has taste. Molly Ringwald
had taste at the time. I feel like, is it me or was she like she was the most sought after?
100%. 100%.
Female.
She's actually she's written some editorials for some stuff because she was unfortunately victim to some pretty gross things around the time she was a teenager and in Hollywood. Shit. And she's written some really insightful and well written and very intelligent editorials that I've read. She seems like a really fucking smart person.
Nice.
So yeah, it's unfortunate that she doesn't act anymore, but I just don't think the gigs were there anymore once she wasn't a teen.
Once the 80s were up, she kind of, it was interesting. Like
she was such a teen idol.
Yeah, she's come out in bit parts, but that's about it. Like, yeah. It's so funny. Yeah, her and Phoebe Cates were like the hottest things of the 80s.
But Phoebe Cates couldn't act. I think that was the big problem.
Phoebe Cates can't act. She can act.
Oh, she's not great. She's not great.
That Santa monologue in Jam the Chimney in Gremlins. Are you kidding me? Gets me.
Oh, that's a great monologue. You're right.
Come on. Yeah, Phoebe Cates, man. I love Phoebe Cates. Molly Ringwald. Yeah.
But she's excellent. I mean, everyone's excellent. But if we go through, Molly Ringwald is doing incredible work in this as well.
Yeah. She really is. Holding her own.
I believe she was the youngest of them as well at this time. I think she was legitimately a teenager around that point. Yeah. Because Emilio, would have been 20 something at that point.
Yeah. And you can tell that Judd Nelson is also a little older than high school.
So
for high school age.
So she was about 16, 17.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So whereas Emilio, about 22, 23. Judd Nelson, he's much older. Ali Sheedy, about Emilio's age. Yeah, so Molly and Anthony Michael Hall. Oh, he was also a teenager. There's actually a moment when you really, really see that Anthony Michael Hall is a teenager. There's a bit where he kind of half laughs and smiles while just after he's been crying, and you look at his face and you're like, you are a baby. So that makes sense. But for someone who, if she's 16, 17, she's got such a great handle on performance because she just...
Well, dealing with being a teenager as well. It's only in retrospect that it's only from the words of John Hughes, the fact that he's written it, like you said before, he's in his 30s. He knows what's at the end of being in high school. And so what these characters are kind of saying and what they're going through is what he would have felt at some point.
Yeah.
Or how kids
do you reckon
felt.
it's kind of the power of how hindsight a little bit makes it more poignant because he has that ability to look in the future.
But she doesn't know that. She's smack and bang in the middle of it, and she gets it to a T. She really does.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess there is the argument that the characters are too aware in this. So their language is is really suited to teenagers, but maybe their emotional maturity. But I don't believe so. I think that they're pretty much spot on. But there is the argument that emotionally they have that hindsight, so they're a bit too aware of themselves and their own problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think the movie works if they're not, kind of thing.
Well, otherwise it's just like watching actual bunch of kids on Saturday Detention, which would be boring as batshit.
Exactly, which would be boring as fuck. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is why I love Dawson's Creek so much, even though the vocab was way too old for them to be using. Way too advanced for them to be using. I still loved it because they were aware that they were teenagers, and going through the tropes that they were going through. And this is the thing, this movie was the movie that made those tropes happen. It was, yeah.
No, you're right, and this is, I think maybe, there obviously are other examples, but I think a big reason why these three movies, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, and Breakfast Club, were so popular was the importance placed on teenage emotion. Yeah. I mean, if we, aside from, I mean, there's some popular ones like Rebel Without a Cause or something like that, but it's not, maybe even The Outsiders. But it's, as far as popularizing almost both those movies, what they have going on is that they're very heavy. Yeah. They're not easy watches.
It's not a lighthearted.
No. And there's very little fun in those movies. And so, yes, they are dealing with, Rebel Without a Cause, I think, was maybe one of the first ones to really kind of delve into a complicated teenage character. But, this is maybe the first one that, or what John Hughes popularized through the 80s, was that ability to have it be quite fun at the same time. Because there are parts of this movie that are a fucking ball. Like, really. Yeah. Like, even though there's some serious stuff going on, like... It can be a lot of fun to watch them just interacting with each other and having these conversations. Yeah.
Yeah. It's when you I remember watching this for the first time, I didn't think that it would be Judd Nelson's character who would kick off because he's the one who kind of takes control at the start and goes and kind of just pokes everyone with sticks until they start talking. Yeah. Because he's been there before and he knows what to do. So, yeah, you don't think that it's going to be him. If anything, you think it's going to be Molly Ringwald because it's Molly Ringwald.
Yeah. Well, I guess he comes at it from an angle where he just wants to stir up as much shit as possible, and by doing that, he just happens to be asking the right questions that get people
get their backs up, sort of thing.
And even like opening up to a degree. And I think obviously Hughes knew that. It was like because Judd Nelson's character can be antagonizing to begin with. But then becomes, like you said, the kind of the catalyst for these conversations because he's established as no shit's given, will ask whatever's on his mind. How do you feel about like he's also? They don't really kind of water him down. I think in nowadays he wouldn't say some of the stuff that he would say because we'd still want to sympathise with him to a degree.
Yeah, and this is where kind of in reading a little bit about this, a lot of people have problems. I don't. I think that at the end of this, you're not going to see... It's fine to have him have an arc, fantastic, but he's not going to grow to the point where he stops being that person at the end of this movie. A lot of people had issues with the fact that he berates the shit out of Molly Ringwald and then ends up with her at the end.
Well, I guess you just don't want to. You just don't want to promote that kind of behavior where it's like, for want of a better phrase, treat him mean, keep him keen, right?
Yeah.
Which is, like I said, I went to an all boys school. I've heard it all.
Fucking horrible.
Yeah, exactly. But we don't want to promote that, and I think this. I don't actually think this movie does promote that. I think it almost happens by circumstance that's what you could take away from this. But I don't think Molly Ringwald decides to go talk to him and kiss him because he was a prick to her.
No. I think she did it because... Pardon me. I think she did it because he challenged her. And he was like, well, why are you like that? Why do you, do these things?
It was I think at times... We also have to remember that he comes from an abusive family and the only relationship, the only relationship between a man and woman that he really understands is his parents' one, which consists of... backhands and telling them to make him... What does he say? Make me a chicken pot pie or something?
Yeah,
it's like so specific.
Yeah.
Go make me a chicken pot pie. I'm like, oh man, like I don't have the ingredients for that shit. God.
Yeah.
But so that's the only relationship he understands. So his reaction, I think it's not acceptable in any way, shape or form, but there is an element of understanding to that there.
Yeah. Yeah. The other one, since we're mentioning it, the other one that people weren't okay with is the fact that Ali Sheedy has a complete facelift kind of thing, changes her entire personality, and then all of a sudden Emilio's interested.
Well, let's talk about Ali Sheedy because she's fantastic in this as well. They're all fantastic.
Great. She's one of my favorites.
She might legitimately be my favorite the older I get.
The more you
I
watch
think.
It. Yeah.
Because she truly is the one that
just
I guess
unique.
is so unique. And you're right, the movie does kind of strip her of that at the end, which is a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
But I don't, like I said, and it might just be me making excuses for it because I love it so much, but I don't think it's portrayed in a way where it's like she can't have it both ways.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, for them, it appeared to be something that Molly Ringwald did as a bonding experience for the two of them. It wasn't like, you're an ugly dog, I need to fix you. It came across as a fun experience for them because to help bond. And if that's how Molly Ringwald does that, then that's how her character does that.
Exactly. It was to pass the time, and because she liked it in the end, she kept it, you know. If she didn't like it, you can tell by that character that we've seen throughout that whole movie. If she didn't like what Molly did, she would have changed herself back. And
exactly. And she would have taken out the headband and scruffed it up. And also, the other thing that I only realised this time is that she's wearing those clothes. I used to think that she'd changed the clothes as well. But they're her clothes. You see her when she walks out. She's still wearing the exact same clothes. It was just that she had that giant jacket and scarf on. So she's still... I always thought that she changed her top as well, because her top is kind of... like,
is it pink?
It's like a light kind of white. It just feels a lot more feminine than what she's presented in the rest of the film. But yeah, that's what she wore. She just happened to have that underneath the big coat. And so if anything, it's more of a freedom of expression, because she was wearing the coat because she's so self-conscious about her how she looks. So if anything, this has given her a bit of confidence and strength to be able to not wear the jacket, and to kind of stick up for herself.
She's by far the funniest character in this.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Like, her making that sandwich, oh my God, it's a sugar sandwich.
Yeah.
With, what is it, like cereal?
Delicious. Yeah, I think it's like, is that what Cheerios are? Because we don't have Cheerios here, I don't think.
No, we do have Cheerios. They're circular.
Oh, I thought they were little circle things. Were they not?
No, they were kind of like corn pops, or like
little balls.
Well, yeah. It looked delicious.
It did look delicious, and I was all about it. Did you ever make a Fruit Loop sandwich? I made a Fruit Loop sandwich.
You made a Fruit Loop sandwich?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I used to make a lot of banana and Milo sandwiches.
Oh, yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's not to love about that?
Yeah,
chocolate, banana,
How
bread.
Good is that? Please
fucking get it on.
I'd have two of them.
She's great.
So funny. It's so funny in high school, like that scene, especially Emilio's lunch. Like, you just, like, my poor mum, two boys in the house at the ages when I was 16, he was 13. We used to eat. My God, she spent like $500 on food a week, and we would plow through it in a fucking weekend.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
And
kids can eat, man.
God.
Kids can eat.
They can eat. Yeah. And it got to the point where, and that's the best thing about being a teenager, it just gets to the point where you just go, fuck it. I've got this, and this in the house. What can I make? And you just come up with this shit.
Of course you do.
Exactly.
Do you know what I discovered? My favourite discovery, and this is something I still swear to this day is fucking delicious. I might have already talked about this, but a Scotch finger biscuit, the ones that have the chocolate bottom.
Scotch, yeah,
like it's got like you can get home brand ones of it, and they're wonderful. So it's shortbread, chocolate, chuck a slice of cheddar cheese on that bad boy, and I shit you not, it is a taste sensation. It is brilliant. You don't believe me?
Oh, that's amazing. I'm not going to tell you mine because mine are weird. Like, my mum...
Oh, sorry. Shortbread, chocolate and cheese is pretty normal by your standards, is it?
All right. You want to hear? Okay,
yeah, come on.
So it got to the point where, because cereal, I love cereal so much. So she used to buy me just a packet of oats. I used to fill a cup probably about 3/4 of the way with just raw oats, stick... milk in it to the point where the oats just rose a little bit, so you knew there was enough liquid in it, and then I'd pile probably about, we're talking a tablespoon of sugar just on the top of that sucker, and I would just eat that.
Nice. That's how I used to eat Wheat Bix. I thought I was being healthy, but I used to put like half a half a packet of sugar on top of it. I was like, healthy breakfast.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. I still do that. What are you talking about?
It's the only way to eat Wheat Bix. I'm sorry. But yeah, she's really good at physical comedy, which you don't really get the opportunity to see in any movies that she's done since then. Like she just, the way she holds herself and her expressions are so good. Like she seems legitimately like, I know they all do seem pretty truthful to a degree, but I think she's the one that seems the most. Every school had that kid. Like, like down to a T. The weird kid.
The weird kid.
And it sums it up so perfectly, I think.
She was so true to herself, though. She wasn't trying to be anyone else. She just
of
wanted
course
to
not.
be seen.
But that's usually the point.
That was the best bit. Yeah.
Like, but yeah, so yeah, she's fantastic, and it's a bummer that Emilio does basically does the cartoon Aruga eyes when she has the makeover. It'd be nicer if they established it just a fraction more before she changed.
Beforehand, yes, I would have loved that because then it would have worked like a T.
Yeah,
like insane. Yeah.
It just
I wasn't a big. The other thing that that didn't sit with me was the reaction to Pot from Emilio Estevez. I'm like, Pot does not do that to
I have
you.
never had any weed that made me do that. If I attempted to do gymnastics after smoking a doobie,
I know, right?
That would be the enemy.
Like, unless this pot is laced with something.
That's what I thought. I was like, man,
you're fucking doing that
some
shit.
They're doing some hardcore shit. They got some laced with some speed or some shit.
Yeah, and pot is fucking stinks. That library would fucking
Oh my
reek.
God. And how about that room that he's just hotboxing in? I'm like,
I know. What the fuck?
You're never getting rid of that smell, ever. Even like 3 hours later. And look, this is, we love this movie unapologetically. But
absolutely,
they are baked, and you're not getting out of that for a little while. Where's the hour-long scene of them just flaking out, and being
and just going, we are starving. Like, is there anything? There's no water in here either. I've got the dry something fierce.
Oh fuck! You had like 7 sandwiches, man. You gotta give me one, Emilio. Give me one of your sandwiches.
He's like, fuck off.
He's like, no, man. I saw a bag of cookies. You gotta give them to me.
Fuck it. I'm just gonna
fuck off,
eat
man.
the
I need my
gum
carbs.
I'm going to eat the gum that's under this
exactly.
table.
Oh, man. And like Molly Ringwald's like, I can't believe all I ate was sushi. I'm such an idiot.
Yeah.
I want a burger.
Yeah.
Or like just them, because they try to have that serious conversation. There at least needs to be 2 or 3 instances where one of them turns around and goes, what are we talking about? Hang on, what was I saying?
Just starts giggling for no reason.
Exactly.
You kind of get that a little bit. You get that from Michael C. Hall.
Yeah.
And I love it when when they first kind of sit down. It's such a beautiful moment when they kind of all sit down at the back of the library and they all chilling out. Michael C. Hall's put on the sunglasses from Judd Nelson.
Yeah.
And it's really nice. It's really like that. You can tell that they're friends. And it's so funny how at this moment, because they do smoke the doob, they kind of get some things off their chests, and then Michael C. Hall beautifully in his naive youngness just comes out and goes, "Hey, you guys are going to say hi to me in the halls, right?"
Yeah,
and it completely just goes, "Oh shit."
Well, I mean, that's that's the important question of the day, really. That I think the whole movie's leading up to is that when kids have a shared experience like that, unfortunately, it doesn't mean as much as what it does when you're outside of high school. There are certain things that you just can't overcome while you're in high school. If you were you were 22 and you had a shared experience like that, like let's just say, there was you went to the library, stuck in an elevator, exactly, and the same things happened and the same conversations had, you'd most likely end up mates with those people for life. Yeah, and there would be no question about it because it would just be you'd be experiencing other kinds of lifestyle. You'd be like, oh, okay, cool. You wrestle, you competitively wrestle.
Cool. Okay.
Cool.
I'll come to a
I'll
match.
come watch. Sure, that sounds fun. Because at the end of the day, everyone sits down and has dinner and has a beer. But there's something very different about the high school hierarchy that you can't avoid. And I think he does a really good job of highlighting that it's kind of going to always be that. Even at the end of the movie, where I think we're meant to think that they will talk to each other, I think there is always going to be an animosity there that. Or a kind of a dismissiveness there. They'll fondly remember the day, and they'll never like hang shit on them. But it's not like but they're not going to be buddies forever.
No, out of high school, if they see, I think it's Michael C. Hall that's the only one who's not going to get a high, which makes me feel so sad at the end because, Ali Sheedy and Emilio Estevez kind of get together in the end. Judd Nelson. He's gonna have dinner with Molly Ringwald's parents, and they're gonna start off and go nuts.
Yeah, I give that relationship about 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, when she goes to college, that's it.
You reckon?
Like that's it. It'll be fun. It'll be fun for a bit, and then they're done.
Yeah,
but yeah, like I think Michael C. Hall's the one who's out of high school, when they see them down the street, someone will go, "Hey man, how you doing?" You know. I hope anyway.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
the other thing is, like, he's the one who has to. They go, "Hey, do you mind like writing all of our essays?"
I know, straight up there. Like,
and
hey,
straight up, and he's.
But you're the smartest
Is it-
one. It's still kind of taking advantage of him a little bit.
It is,
but it's in
yeah.
a loving way. So you're kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
I guess it's fine. It's
And he actually, you can tell that he actually enjoys it.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
does get
He
some
wants
fun
to
out
do
of
a good. He wants to do a
it.
good piece of work. He actually wants to kind of
Yeah.
write something poignant and expressive and well written. He wants to do all that stuff. So let him do it, I guess.
I do love that the detention is the fact that they just have to sit and do fuck all. Like, you have to sit there and do nothing.
God, that's
like
yeah.
whenever I got in trouble, I had to do detention or something like that. Not that I remember a time that I did. When I was
I've
watching
done
this, I
some
was like,
lunchtime detentions. But that was
did you?
it.
Yeah, I never got detention. I think that I did, but I don't remember.
Our school used to give out lunchtime detentions like they were fucking, Tic Tacs. Yeah, it's just you'd walk in like a second late to class, lunchtime detention. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
I didn't even do anything. Shut up.
Exactly.
Yeah, we always had to do homework.
Oh,
do some work.
Always do work.
I don't care what it is, do
or
work.
read.
I'm like,
read something.
I don't have anything. Yeah. Just gonna draw. Shut up.
But do they expect him to literally sit there and do nothing? Because that's
torture.
I think it's more likely that they're going to trash the joint and smoke a doob if you tell them to do nothing than if you said. I mean, obviously he gave him that essay to write, but like, what was it? 1,000 words? You can knock out 1,000 words in an hour,
dude. I can do 1,000 words standing in my head.
Yeah.
They're
there for 7 hours or whatever, 7.5 hours. Yeah. It's a lot of time that they're just going to get up to shenanigans. You're not really thinking it through.
Come on, give him something to do. That's why I love Dawson's Creek fans will remember the Breakfast Club episode. The teacher that's watching her stories who's looking at she empties, the Judd Nelson's looking through it and he's moving all the cards around. The cards where you have to look up a book. What is that called?
That's the
file of facts thing.
Yeah, it's the cataloging system for the library.
Cataloging. Yeah. She in Dawson's Creek, she grabs one of those and just empties it on the floor and then kicks her feet around in it and goes, "There you go, put that in alphabetical order."
Take that.
Yep. Take that, Pacey.
Yeah. You suck it up, Pacey. You like it. Yeah, very good. I want to shout out especially to Emilio's monologue because I think it's probably because they all get their moment to shine, but I think his is probably the strongest. His is really something else.
His is good.
He's a good actor. I think I might have been sleeping on Emilio a little bit because it's
really?
it's Emilio. It's like Emilio. It's a bit of a gag.
Emilio. Yeah. It's a bit of a gag.
He's awesome, and I'll always love him whatever he does. But I've never been like, oh, Emilio Estevez is a really good actor. And watching this, he's just you kind of go, oh fuck yeah, he's really good.
He hasn't done anything that will blow you away.
No, and that's unfortunate because he's never really. I don't think he's had many opportunities to do really heavy dramatic roles. He's had a few here and there more recently. And he's also become a reasonably accomplished director. He's done some really cool
I like
stuff.
that. I like that. Yeah, I've wanted to see Bobby for a while. The 2006.
That's the Bobby Kennedy when Bobby Kennedy got shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I've wanted to see that. I've been told it was good. But yeah, Emilio Estevez, man. The only thing I remember him from before I'd even seen Breakfast Club, he was Mighty Ducks. Mighty Ducks. And Hasta lasagna, don't get any on ya. Like, that was him. Like, that was it. And that's all I remember. Oh, and Young Guns, obviously, because Young Guns was badass. But it wasn't really acting in Young Guns. It was just a lot of gunfights. And
no, I mean, that's it. Well, he just had to be tough and throw his weight around. Yeah. Do you know what I do love? And I don't think we mention it anywhere near enough, but Loaded Weapon 1 with him and Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, really?
God, that is a funny movie.
I've never seen it.
Oh, haven't you? I don't think you'll like it at all. I think you had to have watched it in the 90s to like it.
Oh, really? Oh,
because it is like it's Hot Shots kind of style comedy. So it's real heavy spoof, but it's not as good as Hot Shots. But it's it's real funny though. I have a very big giggle because it's really dumb. You got to be in the right frame of mind. If you feel like being dumb,
that's true.
Chuck this on. It's really hard to get your hands on that now. I had to There's
really?
there's a really dodgy like full frame DVD floating around, and that's about it.
Oh. I remember it was this, and what's Naked Gun, all those Naked Gun movies.
Yep.
Like I used to always because that was the end section in the video store. You'd be like, I'm not watching any of this shit. I was like, for some reason, I'm like, I'm not watching any of this. Whatever this is, I don't want to borrow it.
Sure.
And my dad kept going, watch Aeroplane, will you? Will you watch Aeroplane? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch Aeroplane.
Aeroplane's great.
No.
Have you still never seen Aeroplane?
No, still never seen Aeroplane.
Dude, it's
Yep.
same thing.
I've heard it's good.
It's real. Like it's
Heard it's
just you can't. If you don't laugh, there is a weird part of your brain missing. I think. Because even I went in so jaded about it and was like, no, this is not going to be my style of humor at all.
How old
and
were
within
you?
about 20,
when
I
did
only
you
watched
watch
it for the
this?
first time in my mid-20s. And
Aeroplane.
Yeah. Or, I think is it Flying High here or is it Flying High overseas and it's Aeroplane here? I can't remember.
I have no idea. I think it's Flying High here.
Yeah. And I sat down completely sure I was not going to have a bar of it. And within like a minute and a half, I was like in tears with laughter. So highly recommend it.
All right. I'll give it a watch. I will give it a watch.
Anything else about Breakfast Club, Nicholas?
Breakfast Club. I know it wasn't going to be Simple Minds, that song that we all love and associate with this movie. It wasn't going to be that song. That was the very last thing that they put. They wanted something from Billy Idol, I think. I could be wrong with that.
Billy Idol song?
They wanted... He tried so hard to get this one specific song. I forget what it is now. But yeah, it was the last minute and Simple Minds. Yeah.
It's pretty impressive when there's something so iconic that came about in that way.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just proves that you can sometimes... It's 90% luck. Some of this shit, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
making
is.
a really special movie like this. It's there's talent involved, but some of it is just flat out luck.
Yeah,
and
100%.
How much of this popularity of this movie is due to the song, and how much of the popularity of the song is due to the movie? Do you reckon? It's kind of like
they go
it's a
hand
bit
in
chicken.
hand.
Yeah, it's a bit chicken and eggish because I know a lot of people that know the song and know that it's from Breakfast Club that haven't seen Breakfast Club.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, so
it's such a good start, man. Seriously,
such a good start, such a good end.
There's a cafe where I used to live on St George's Road called the Breakfast Club.
Oh yeah, nice.
And the menu sits and it has a little silhouette of Judd Nelson doing the fist in the air at the top. And I went in, Nick being the dumbass movie buff that he is, went in and I paid. I was like, oh, how much is that? Yeah, cool. There you go. There's some cash. This was like fucking 6 years ago. And I went in and I was like, hey, do you guys play Simple Minds every hour on the hour? And he's like, what? And I'm like, oh God, I'll see you later.
Yeah, it's not. You're not in like Vegas where the staff are trained to understand all the context of the bar that they're working in. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, wherever you were, someone was just like, "Hey man, I'm just trying to feed my kid, man. Can you just?"
Exactly. It's Sunday morning and I'm a uni student and I'm hung the fuck over.
Exactly.
Can you go? Who's Simple Minds? Can you go away? Like fucking little shit.
Dude, I was born in 1998. All right, yeah,
fucking
fair enough.
Punch you. 98. Really? You were born a year before The Matrix. Oh, fuck off, kid.
Oh, you mean that really old movie? All right, we're done.
That really old movie with John Wick. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, kid.
Yeah. What else I don't know much else.
I feel like we've talked around Breakfast Club. I feel like we haven't talked about Breakfast Club.
No, I think we've done pretty well.
We've talked about it. We've done well.
Well, I mean, what is there? There's not really much else to say about it. It
is.
perfectly
It's like a
captures a
bottleneck
certain
episode.
yeah,
It's weird.
And it just captures the time really, really effectively. I think all the characters kind of, if nobody comes out of that like with any greater deal of awareness of who they are, all it does is give them the tools to understand that that's what being a teenager is like.
Yeah, it gives them the insight that they're not alone.
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
I like.
Yeah,
they're not alone,
and then
no
there's
one
a
is,
certain amount of common ground, and all the trouble you go to separate into these cliques. In the end, it'll all wash out, and you're all still everyone's still going through the same shit, but they're all like nobody's solved their issues. That's what I liked about this movie. Is like what I've always liked is that nobody has a magic awakening and becomes a totally different person. It's just like people understand and learn to live with who they are and accept other people for who they are. There's, and that's pretty much it. And I think that's a really, it's a good way to think about it. There's a couple, like, so tell me, if you were, let's say, Clark, you picked up Clark from detention.
Sure.
or even Sam, maybe Sam did. And and Clark walks out from detention, Saturday detention. You're already a little bit pissed at him. He's about to get in the car and just max on with some girl for a bit.
I knew this
in front of the
was
car. And then gets in the car. What are you saying? You're not like, surely you're going, what the fuck, man? Like, are you serious? You are here. I'm already pissed that I've had to come drop you off and collect you on your Saturday, and you're going to go,
and you're sucking face on the front of the bonnet of my car? My God, man.
Get
Have
that
some
shit out
dignity. Pull your fucking pants up.
I find it so funny. Exactly.
Get a haircut, you little bum.
That's it. I'm taking it to military school right this second. Oh, God.
No. It is funny. Like, they're there for a while. Like, she hands him an earring. And,
oh, man, he's pawning that shit. He's pawning that
God.
tomorrow.
No, he's not. He's
exactly. Times will get tough, and he'll look down at that thing and he'll be like, well, she hasn't talked to me in 3 weeks anyway, so I'm going.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going to pawn this.
What am I getting for this?
I'm getting that. $20. What? $20?
$20?
Yeah, fair deal.
Yeah, that's not bad. That gets me
for one earring.
That gets me a sixer. A sixer Coors Light.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it, man. That's all I got for Breakfast Club.
I like it.
It's good fun. Good fun indeed. So much fun. I think I mentioned this last week, but I did write a university film school piece on this. So I've written a good.
Did you get a HD for that, Tyson?
I did actually. Yeah.
Nice
It was discussing the mise en scène of Breakfast Club, and I also was using it to talk about music in film. So
nice.
But it was mostly the mise en scène stuff.
I feel like I hate that term.
Me too.
Film, but
I can only say it in the most pretentious way possible because otherwise I sound like a douche. So every time I say it, it's mise en scène.
Mise en scène. I feel like John Hughes and Cameron Crowe were cut from the same cloth.
Yes, I would agree.
But I don't know. I feel because Cameron Crowe was doing a lot of music clips before he did his first movie, which was it Almost Famous? I don't know.
No, Cameron Crowe's first was Singles, I think.
Oh, Singles! I've always wanted to see that.
Singles is okay.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. I don't know if he directed anything before that. He wrote. Didn't he write the screenplay to Fast Times? He wrote the screenplay for Fast Times, didn't he?
Fast Times, did he? Oh, no, Say Anything, Tyson.
Say Anything, of course. I love Say Anything.
It's his first movie. Everyone loves Say Anything. See, that's another thing. I thought Say Anything was a part of the Hughes collective as well.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a perfect example of what John Hughes kind of encouraged, I guess, because Say Anything would have been, 87?
Close, 89.
89. Oh, of course. It was in our top 10. It was in my top 10 of 89. So you can see, you definitely see the strains of what John Hughes created and the way that he could turn. Because Say Anything is even more drama than Breakfast Club. It has small moments of comedy, but I think it's almost a straight up drama.
It's a bit too drama-ish. I remember watching it going, I can't wait for this, and I wasn't expecting a drama. I was expecting a comedy, and I was like, oh, okay,
yep. I still think
there's the scene.
He's holding up the boombox. Great.
Yeah, he's holding up the thing.
Very good.
Cool. Yep.
That's definitely Peter Gabriel.
But exactly. What year did Hughes die?
Oh God, I want to say 2008.
2009. Wow. So what was he? Did he just stop making films?
Yeah, he hadn't made anything for a while.
Last movie was Curly Sue.
Yeah, he stopped directing, and I think he still was producing the odd thing here and there, but he wasn't working creatively.
That's huge. I need to know why he stopped now. I know there's a documentary called "Don't You Forget About Me" after the Simple Minds song about why he did stop. I don't know why.
Yeah, I would love to see that as well. Because I do think just to go back to something that I suppose we always have to think about when we talk about stuff from the 80s. I do think that there's some problematic stuff in a lot of his a lot of his material. So I wonder if that was part of it as well, when it was like maybe just stepping away, because it was like, well, it's hard to create anything because there's a danger of it in 20 years being looked at as no longer relevant because it's no longer appropriate for whatever reason. So I wonder if that played a part, because he always seemed like a very kind of I guess sensitive person, you know what I mean? Like
recluse,
a bit of a recluse, but very much in touch on an emotional side of things. Like, so I don't know,
Yeah,
but he has an incredible insight to the the teenage mind, and he wrote it very well. So
he did.
We're very glad to have his movie still around.
Absolutely.
Shall we move on, Nick?
Shall we move on, Tyson?
Bit of our other segment. I can't remember what I was going to say. What did you watch this week?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice. Do you want to go first?
Oh, yeah. I've got to open up my thingy. That sounds sus.
Oh, let me go first.
You go first, Nicholas. What did you watch this week, buddy?
I literally just watched today.
Ooh.
It's one of my... God, it's a good movie. And I stick by it. 1995's Michael Bay Bad Boys. I love this movie.
Hello.
I love it. God damn. I'm not ashamed. I fucking love this movie. This movie is... It's just excitement to the very nth degree. Like it's... The storyline is paper thin. It's riding on the back of my God, I got no words. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence's tension. Like, the movie rides on them. The movie wouldn't work if it wasn't for them. Like, it really wouldn't. But what you've got is Michael Bay doing what he does very early on.
Does it still have the Michael Bay-isms about it, though? I always remembered Bad Boys as being kind of watered down.
It does, but it's very, very... You have to look for it.
Right.
It's not as in your face. So obviously when you go up onto a rooftop, there's smoke coming from random places, and that smoke is backlit with blue light.
Yeah, sure.
That is Michael Bay in a capsule, right?
Yeah.
So it's great.
Everyone's sweaty.
Exactly. Sweeping, it's set in Miami. It's sweeping camera shots. It's a lot of slow-mo. Everyone's sweaty. It's gunshots. You don't really have an understanding of who's shooting at who. Like, I love this fucking movie. God damn it, I do.
It's been a real long time since I've seen it.
And it's maybe I rated it so high because of the nostalgia that it has with me and my brother, and watching it in the 90s. And, like, you got to remember... This was before, like, the 90s. This time, we hadn't had Matrix yet, and Bond was still kind of silly. Terrorists weren't on our mind. It was still drug lords and things like that as being the bad guys, and so there was still a kind of fun to the action. It wasn't 80s action. It wasn't squibs going off fucking left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Even though you have a shitload of that in this. Yeah. But what you do get in this is you get a badass soundtrack, and you get a sense of fun with the action that doesn't necessarily need to be grounded. Like when Bourne and Casino Royale came out, the action and on top of that, even Batman Begins, everything had to be set in realism and very grounded and very realistic. And this was kind of, no, I'm going to pull a gun out, and everyone just pulls guns out, and,
sure.
And it's still kind of that bit of fun.
It does feel like it's a pretty natural extension of what 80s action movies were doing, especially like the buddy cop style action movies. It does feel, it feels like it's kind of the natural evolution of that, which is cool. Unfortunately, it did get kind of off the rails a bit as his career went on a bit. Bad Boys 2, obviously.
Michael Bay.
Yeah, I feel like Bad Boys 2 is just... I mean, I'd have to watch it again because it just seems so ridiculous to me now that movie is what that movie is.
I still love Bad Boys 2 as well. Right. I'm doing the trilogy.
You're going to do it? All right.
Yeah,
nice
I've been waiting to watch the new one, and I'm like kind of waiting for streaming, but I'm like, I can't wait. Can this thing hurry up so I
thought
can watch
was on something.
Was it?
Yeah, I had a few. I thought I saw it on Prime Video. Is it not
what?
there? It might not be. I might be imagining that, but I had a feeling that it popped up on Prime.
Someone give me a shout out. Is it on Prime?
I'm going to shout out for you right now, my man.
Please do.
Yeah, Bad Boys for Life.
But yeah, Bad Boys.
No, I must have been imagining things.
Yeah, I'm not renting it for $7 yet.
Yeah, no, $7 that's a bit much.
Yeah,
we're pretty
sorry.
Do you know what's on? By the way, just as a public service announcement, for $4.99, you can buy the 4K director's cut of Commando on the app on the iTunes store. By the way, $4.99. That's a fucking bargain. Director's cut too. It's got all the extra violence that we only
Director's
saw.
cut.
We didn't get to see.
Yes.
Remember how? Do you remember? This is a side story. Do you remember the first time you watched Commando and you saw the full uncut version? And was
the head came off?
Yeah. Were you fucking like my jaw was on the floor?
Holy shit! This is violence.
I was in my 20s when I first saw that uncut version.
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't remember this bit. Oh, that was sick.
Oh, yeah, it was the blade. It was the buzzsaw blade.
He
that
uses
threw
that garden shed as like his stockpile, and just it's like grabs pitchforks and razor cutter things.
It blows up. I remember that movie being like hard. Whenever you threw a grenade and someone would jump and blow away from it. That's 100% Commando. That movie right there.
They've all got little trampolines under their feet.
Thrown in that fucking yeah.
But yeah, so public service announcement: $4.99 on the iTunes store to purchase. $4.99. 4K.
Nice.
4K. Imagine Commando in 4K.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What is Bad Boys? Can you rent some Bad Boys?
Yes.
$95. You can't stream it. I don't know. You can. Netflix.
Oh, it's on Netflix. All right, good deal.
4K Netflix.
Oh,
do
nice.
that shit.
So yeah, Nick, I'll just briefly mention that I did get so I did purchase Shudder. I've only done a couple of things on Shudder so far, and they've both been fine. So kind of middling. I haven't loved either of them, but I'm sure the thing about Shudder is that it's a curated collection. So you don't just go in and you don't just get thousands of movies. Yeah, it's curated by so it's a limited selection. But it's all it's Shudder originals and a whole bunch of stuff that they've chosen specifically for the month or for however long.
Okay.
So I mean, it's still a pretty decent, wide range of things. But there's just it's not like you can go on and get every single Nightmare on Elm Street, every single Friday the 13th, every single Halloween. It's not going to be like that, unfortunately.
Damn.
But so the couple that I've tried so far, which were two that I'd heard good things about, I was kind of middle of the road with. But I don't want to mention them. But just so people, if they do happen to get really excited about Shudder, just so you are aware, it is a curated selection. You don't just get an endless supply of horror movies forever.
Damn. But that selection will change over time.
Yeah, it changes pretty regularly. Yeah.
Nice.
And you'll find some gems in there. Like I'm looking forward to going through to the older stuff that I've missed. That's what I'm kind of excited about.
Any Hammer stuff on their Tys?
There didn't appear to be, no. But also we've got to remember that it's going to be a bit different here because of licensing and things like that. So we're never going to get as much good stuff as what Shudder's going to have overseas. But hopefully they'll come close. Nick, I want to talk about, do you know what I watched for the first time? I watched Executive Decision for the first time.
Executive Decision.
Now, this is the action movie with Kurt Russell and Steven Seagal?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I'd never seen this one before. This was like that 90s action movie gap. Like, we talk about how many of these things we've seen, 80s and 90s action movies. Yeah. We were all over this stuff. For some reason, I was trying to fill a few of those gaps, and I filled another one, but it's not worth talking about.
Nice.
Executive Decision was one of the ones that I just never got around to watching. I love Kurt Russell. I love Steven Seagal.
Yep.
Just missed it. And because I'd heard it was kind of average. Remember when it was always one of those ones where it would come really cheap. You'd get it through Warner DVD.
Yeah.
It would be on. Yeah. It would always be one of the sales. It would either be $9.98 or $6.98, and you'd just be trying to give them away, and you could never move them.
You put it together with is it Terminal Velocity?
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah.
The Drop? Is it The Drop with Wesley Snipes?
Drop Zone.
Dropout or Drop Zone. There you go. Yeah.
Wesley Snipes had a monopoly on plane action movies, didn't he? With Passenger 57 and Drop Zone.
Passenger 57.
Yeah.
Yes.
But just in case people have been sleeping on this, Executive Decision was fucking fun. I really liked it.
Really?
Yeah. And expecting it to just be okay and then going in and being like, damn, this is up there. This, for me, this is like, should be mentioned in the conversation of the best. Like, it's Under Siege level of good, I reckon.
Really?
Yeah, I really like
Under
it.
Siege level?
Yeah. It's got a really clever sense of kind of cynicism. Like, it knows what kind of movie it is and has, it's got a little bit of like a sarcastic kind of tongue-in-cheek edge to it. Kurt Russell is fantastic. The action sequences are really like full of like tension. They do really good stuff because I think Passenger 57 struggles with this a lot. Is like Air Force One, they make a plane a very stressful place and a bigger place than what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like if you think about an action movie set on a plane, you feel like you're limited, but this movie makes it seem like it's full of possibilities. Like they've got all these different areas they can explore. It's I had a really good time with it, man, and I feel like it's one of the underrated action movies of the 90s. So
nice.
Have you seen it? You've seen it?
No.
It's just on Netflix, man. Give it a go.
I've never watched like this tier of action movies that we just mentioned. Like I always used to watch, if I wanted to watch them, I either watched Bloodsport or I watched Under Siege. Sure. Like they were the movies that I was going to go to. I like Passenger 57. I haven't seen. What was the one I mentioned before? The Drop Zone, Drop Out. Yep, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen this. There's other ones that I haven't seen. I'm like, oh, why haven't I ever watched them? I'll get around to them.
Get on this one quick because it's really fun. Had a really good time.
Okay.
So executive
and Cigar
decision.
was good. Cigar was good.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah,
I mean it's Steven Seagal.
Yeah, it's Steven Seagal.
It's Kurt Russell's movie.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, Kurt Russell's the man.
Nice.
He's really good in it too. Really, really great. Out of nowhere, I had no idea. Early Halle Berry role, and she's great as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
What else you got?
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Fuck. I watched something, Tyson, that I built too high up in my head. We have talked about this before.
Yeah, it's always dangerous.
I bought it on Blu-ray. I'm talking probably 6 years ago, and it's been sitting on my shelf and just sitting there.
Okay.
Yep. And I said, Sam, watch it with me, and she's like, babe, I think this is one for you. You watch it by yourself.
Okay.
The nostalgia's with you. And what I'm talking about is The Last Starfighter. So I watched.
You are not about to shit on The Last Starfighter.
I'm not shitting on it. It just wasn't as good as I remembered. That's all.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, and it was good. It's just it was a nice. It was just a. You know, it was all right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I had built it up way too much. There is some. That doesn't mean that I didn't have fun with it, though. I remember the two things I remember distinctly about The Last Starfighter was one that I wanted to live in a trailer park like they did.
Oh yeah, it makes trailer park look really nice, doesn't it?
It does. It looked so much fun and warming, and everyone
really
knows
nice
each
community,
other. Yeah, and everyone's got like a cool like a bedroom that's really fun and stuff like that, and there's so much fake grass, like no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
And at the top of the hill, there's a shop that you can go to and just chill out if you want. There's video games there and have a hot dog or whatever.
So incredibly unrealistic.
Massively unrealistic. Massively.
In reality, those people are like dealing drugs out the back and like
exactly. And
shooting
everyone's
each other.
kind of and you're overhearing like domestic violence.
Yeah, exactly.
And, that's fucked up. Anyway, so the other thing that I remember was the fact that the video game, the Last Starfighter that he plays, is in a gully. I thought it was down in a gully. Like I thought the cafeteria place was down. It's not.
Oh,
it's
up the top.
completely opposite. It's on the top of a hill.
Yeah. How funny.
Oh God. Anyway, yeah, that's so weird. But anyway, watched it. Look, it was great. It was literally full of nostalgia, 80s nostalgia fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Like all of the stuff that they go through. There's some stuff in there that's very Twilight Zone, very 80s version of PG, which is kind of an MA. Like there's some stuff in there.
Like some dude's face just gets melted off, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like just straight up.
There's probably 3 scenes where I was like, whoa, you can't be fucking showing that. Luckily, I didn't watch it with Clark or something like that. Because there's one, so when he goes, do you remember when he goes in the ship, he goes in the car and takes off and becomes a starfighter? There's a clone of him that stays there.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what the clone does is shake his hand, gets the DNA off his hand, then goes into his bedroom and lies under the covers and basically shape shifts into him.
Yeah.
But what you see is the in between is him almost shape shifting, and it's like it's a translucent
yeah, and it's like
goo
puffing
type
in and out, isn't it?
Puffing, yeah, and it's got glowing things underneath, and the eyeballs are outside their sockets, and I'm like, I'm going to have nightmares.
That was the childhood trauma for me, for sure.
What the
that moment?
fuck are we going to look at here? But yeah, and the other one was when the bad guy they find out who is a spy who's spying in on the bad guys, and they melt him in front of everyone. And I was like, whoa, okay, you just... Yeah, sure. That guy's dead.
Like
fully Raiders of the Lost Ark style.
Even just you talking about it now is making me want to watch it. I had a very opposite effect the last time I watched it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I watched it and I loved it. Hang on, I'm just going to check that in case I'm making that up because
it's so funny because I wanted to love it. I wanted to love it so hard. I bought the Blu-ray without even like
I did. I loved it hard the last time I watched it. Like hard.
It was a 9 for you, wasn't it?
It was a 9. Yeah.
My God. But yeah, Last Starfighter, man. It's full of 80s nostalgia. I'll definitely watch it again.
Where'd you get that Blu-ray? I'm keen on that Blu-ray. Where'd you get it?
Hey, man. Yeah, Amazon, dude. Bring that shit.
Just Amazon? Is it an Aussie Blu-ray or is it an import?
No, it's import.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting on that.
Yeah.
Very good. I'll just mention one more briefly, Nick. I watched, also from 1985, I watched Legend, Ridley Scott's Legend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay, so I'd never seen this movie all the way through before this. I'd tried to watch it once before, and I turned it off. I remember very well.
It's kind of understandable.
And then this time I gave it a good solid go. It is... It is part of that phenomenon that exists that I like to call the best-looking bad movies of all time.
Sure.
And this would be well and truly up there. It is a garbage movie, but it looks so good. Like, Ridley Scott has directed the shit out of this. It is shot beautifully. It is just it's a garbage fire of a movie. The makeup, the costumes, like as it gets on, actually, it gets a bit better as it goes on. I think the last 45 minutes or so, a lot stronger than the first 45, where it's just really just meandering. Then, watched it on Netflix or whatever I watched it on, then found out that there's actually 3 versions of the movie.
Oh my God.
There's the original US theatrical version, which is under 90 minutes, has a Tangerine Dream soundtrack.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this.
Yeah, and most people don't like it. And I was like, that's a bummer because those other 2 points are the things that I like about it. I was like, as if I didn't watch the version with the fucking Tangerine Dream soundtrack.
Right.
Apparently the version that I saw, which was on whatever I watched it, Netflix, is the European theatrical cut, which has about 6 minutes of extra footage, rearranged, it's in different orders, and it has a Jerry Goldsmith score. Oh. And there is also... a almost 2-hour full ultimate cut director's edition, which has the extended Jerry Goldsmith score and is full director's cut overseen by Ridley, all this kind of stuff.
Damn.
So
he loves his versions of cuts, doesn't he?
Yeah. So what I think is a bummer though, as if you're getting rid of a Tangerine Dream soundtrack, because Jerry Goldsmith's great and it's a nice orchestral, but when I watch this movie, I think it's begging for a weird, trippy synth soundtrack.
Absolutely.
And so I find it really strange that the preferred version is the orchestral score because it makes it just feel like it just feels a bit generic with that. You know what I mean? It just feels kind of like, okay.
I wonder what version I have. I have it on Blu-ray.
Check it out, man.
Do you know if there's a Blu-ray with
the Aussie Blu-ray?
I
think has the I went hunting. It's really you can't find anything that's got all 3. You can find theatrical cut and extended cut, or European cut and extended cut, but nothing with all 3.
Nothing with all 3. Hang on a minute.
Which is a bummer because I want, while Nick goes and examines his Blu-ray collection, I want the US theatrical for the Tangerine Dream soundtrack. I want the European version for just to see it with theatrical score and then the extended one. So what have you got there, Nick?
So I've got European and director's cut.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you get no Tangerine Dream then, unfortunately.
Oh, that is fucking shit.
Yeah. But if anyone hasn't seen this movie, this is like Ridley Scott doing a weird, like Lord of the Rings style fantasy picture with Tim Curry playing one of the greatest looking villains of all time. He is full decked out in full Satan like style red skin, massive horns, cloven
the
feet.
Horns, the horns are arm's length long.
Yeah.
Like they're huge.
And his performance is
That's why
he's out of control good. He's so fantastic. Tom Cruise is garbage in this movie. This is one of the first times I've actually legit been like, oh, this is not a good Tom Cruise performance.
Oh, really?
Well, because I defend him pretty much in anything, but I think he's garbage in this.
You do like him. Who doesn't? I like him.
Yeah. Mia Sarah's pretty great in it, though.
Mia Sarah, she's good.
Yeah. And a lot of, like supporting roles that, lots of voice actors that you'd recognize, and guys like the guy that played Gwildor in Masters of the Universe. Barty.
Oh, yeah.
Billy Barty, is that his name?
Billy Barty. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to see some, especially if you watched a lot of 80s fantasy, you recognize a lot of these people. So,
well, I know what I'm doing after the podcast. I'm going to track down me some Tangerine Dream version.
Yeah.
Because do you know what I did after we did the Dark City, Tyson?
Oh, yeah.
I called my brother. I went, hey, go to your DVD collection, because I know that he's just sits there and he doesn't watch it because he downloads everything, and I'm pretty sure anything that I've gone, I don't want this, he'll go, yeah, I'll take it.
Nice.
I went, go over there and go look if you've got. Do you have my theatrical cut of Dark City? And he's like, Dark City, what's that? I'm like, it's the one that you don't watch because you'd rather watch The Matrix. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know that one. And he pulls it out. I'm like, oi, give me that. That's mine. Give that back. He's like, no, you gave it to me. And I started having an argument with my brother over whose it was and why I wanted it and why he will never watch it.
Exactly.
And Dan, if you listen to this, give my fucking thing back. No, I'm kidding. He gave it back. It was fine.
So it was the theatrical cut in the end?
Yeah. So I've got both cuts now.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I can literally just watch that shitty. I need to listen to the narration, just a little bit of it, and the what were you talking about? The color grading. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. I'd be interested to check that out again myself.
Yeah,
Nick, I think that's going to wrap us up, my man. Why don't you tell the people at home and remind them where they can find our show?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to us. We are Nic, Tys and Videotape. We would love it so much if you are big fans, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so that we can get more followers, because that's how me and Tys, puts a smile on our faces. And seriously, it takes 2 seconds. You'll be fine.
Plenty of time to do all the rest of your shit you got to do.
Exactly.
We promise.
Exactly. It's all right. The microwave isn't going to wash itself. It's fine.
Who washes a microwave? Do you wash a microwave? Really?
No, exactly. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we are all over the social media. So if there is stuff that you would like to look up, or you could have a look at our back catalogue and things like that, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram. We are on YouTube as well. If you're a YouTube listener, hey, how you going? Hey, how you going? That was really Australian.
Hey, how you going, mate?
How you going? Oh, I don't like that I said that. And other than that, Tyson and myself are big fans of the Letterboxd app. So if you wish to see how high we rated The Breakfast Club, you'll have to follow us. And if you aren't on Letterboxd and you do listen to this, come on, get on it, man. Get on
Letterboxd.
Exactly. Tys, to follow him is TYS_videotape, and to follow myself is NIC_videotape.
That is correct.
Tys,
yes.
What are we doing next week?
Well, next week, Nick, we're actually making it a bit of a double feature. We're doing the club double. We've had Breakfast Club this week. Next week, we're doing Fight Club.
Oh, the one you're not allowed to talk about.
No, actually, what am I doing? I fucked it already.
You're out of the Fight Club, Tyson.
Well, joining us, though, on this very special episode to talk about Fight Club will be former guest host and fan of the show, Leon Schiller, who many, many moons ago came on to discuss Starship Troopers.
What did we do? Starship Troopers, that's right. Yeah.
So that was...
I love it. We're doing my man Fincher. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, a bit of Fincher. This is going to be an interesting one, because I'm not sure this movie still holds up. I'm looking forward to seeing if it does.
As if this movie doesn't still hold up. Are you kidding me?
I'm really keen to see it. Like, because new eyes, man. We're older and wiser.
Absolutely.
I'll be very interested to see how it works for me these days, because I think it's. I'm not sure if it's still going to have the same effect that it had back in the 90s and mid 2000s. So.
Do you know that Fight Club is the first movie? Because I was, a big nerd. This is what. Speaking of high school, when I turned 18 in year 12, I didn't want to buy cigarettes or booze. I wanted to see an R-rated movie.
Nice.
And the movie that I saw was Fight Club.
Not bad.
There you go.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, that was my milestone.
Anyway, Nick,
All right,
I'm excited for next week, though, and we'll be, like I said, with our man Leon joining us as well.
I like it.
I'll catch you there, my man.
Come on. I'll see you then.
I'll see you, buddy.
Bye, buddy.
See you, bye.